Good morning. Good morning. I think I'm a minute late. I got distracted. In my defense, I'm very easily distracted. I know. Yeah. Ooh, shiny things. Right, I'm just trying to get it all up on the screen so I know what I'm doing. There I am. Good morning. Oh, good evening. Good evening, Sephora. Good morning, Kerry from Cloudy Chanelli. Happy Valentine's Day. Oh dear, I haven't even started and my words have failed me. Happy Valentine's Day and to you. Hope Eric is feeling better. He is. He was better by breakfast time yesterday morning. Little git. He's absolutely fine now. Thank you. Good morning, Amanda. Let's get this up so that I can see who's on the Coven one. There we are. Oh, and now I've got to turn off the volume. And can you tell how unorganized I am today? Right, it's because I've got a new bit of kit. See how unorganized I am today. Can you hear the echo of me? There we go. Good morning, Maria. Oh, it's going to be a long day. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Alish. Good morning, Jalala. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Emma. And the hand and the shiny one. The shiny one's downstairs in his armchair wrapped up in a blanket. He's quite happy. And I think I heard the kettle just boil. Good morning. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning. David, going through YouTube today. For some reason, Facebook, I was a minute or two late. It might have been that on Facebook. But YouTube tends to be a more stable feed. So, hey, you're here. No worries. No worries how you get here, as long as you're here. Good morning, Cornelia. Good morning, Victoria. Need toast. Today is also going to be rough. Positive thoughts. Let's have a Maria, yes, Eric is much better now. Thank you. Yeah, he was a poorly little doggy. Good morning, Trudy. Good morning, Sasha. Good morning, Xenia. At a hotel, you are such an international jet setter, Xenia. I don't know how you do it. So welcome to another Wednesday. I can't believe how quickly this year is going already. It's madness. Good morning, Lolly. Magical self-care today. I thought we could do with a bit of a boost, a reminder to me. Yeah, it is, David. It is grey, cloud and rainy here as well. But, that's British weather, isn't it? So it could be a whole lot worse, let's face it. So it's all good. It's all good. Oh, I hear the coffee fairy.
Fairy? Is something in the mum?
Oh, here comes the dog.
Sorry.
Hello. Now we have a dog. You're going to say hello to everyone. Look, I'm much better. Much better.
Hello, everybody.
You're right. Yeah. Beanbag, cascading. He's not going to want to stay up here. It's not comfy enough. Gonna go downstairs. Go on then. As you can see, Eric is absolutely fine. Good morning, Deb. Can't see any comments. Maria, I've got Facebook up. I've got and it's showing on mine. Give it a bit of a refresh. Hopefully it'll sort itself out. Good morning, Karen. Yeah, see, Eric's in fine form. Good morning, Trudy. Love the digital hearts. Actually, the background is a leftover from our self-care ritual that we did on Saturday. If you missed the self-care ritual, Kitchen Witch self-care ritual, the replay is available on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook page and on the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel. Bit of a ritual and a bit of self-love magic as well. Good morning, Louise. Trying to sneak in for a few minutes to watch. It is half term, yes. If you have children at home, it's chaos week. David, walking pups in the grey, cloudy and wet day is always fun. Oh, yeah. Eric won't go out in the rain. See, yeah, if you get a dog that hates the rain, you don't have to walk outside when it's raining. He won't go out at all. Good morning, Karen. Trudy, yes, the self-care ritual is available for replay, so do have a look. Right, Jane, self-care is very appropriate today. Got a yucky lurgy. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely go back to bed. Definitely. Yeah, look after yourself. Good morning, Susan, from a wet West Sussex. Yes, a wet Hampshire as well. Lots and lots of things going on. Do have a look at the events page on my website and the What's On page on the Kitchen Witch website. Online rituals, student study halls, all of the events that I will be at. I'm talking at WitchCon online this weekend. Fantastic event. There's the Wild Witchcraft Conference coming up, Wandering Witches, all sorts of things. All sorts of things. So do have a look. Sephora, I see Monty Don is underwater again. Yes, poor Monty Don has from Gardener's World has an area of his garden that floods completely. Yeah, there's a lot, been quite a lot of rain. David, looking forward to watching the ritual this weekend. I want to see what the Marmite was. Yes, there was a suggestion about Marmite at the ritual and trying Marmite if you've not tried it before. Definite love or hate. It's an interesting one. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Kerry, on the half term. Sephora, loved Heather's latest video. Yes, if you look on the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel, Heather has done a video about charging your magical ingredients before you use them in spell work. So if you want to have a peek, do go and have a look at the Kitchen Witch Coven YouTube channel. Oh, there's the link to Wild Witchcraft Conference. Hello over in Australia. I'm assuming evening for you over there. Good morning, Paul. A new book, The Witch, the Shiny One, and the Tea Fairy. I'm not sure if that's a Disney fairy tale or a grim one. Who knows? Who knows? So I thought today it would be interesting to talk about magical self-care. I think, as you've heard me say before, I think we have an advantage over non-magical folk because we have that magical toolkit that we can dig into when we need a bit of self-care. Now, if we all struggle with stuff at times, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, menopause, male and female. I'm sure that men go through it as well. All of the negative stuff, we all deal with it from time to time. It's about recognizing that, acknowledging what's happening, and working to help yourself, really. And there are lots of magical ways that you can do it. So that's the subject today. Any thoughts on that? Pop your thoughts, insights, suggestions in the comments, and we'll see where it takes us. What do you do for magical self-care? How do you help yourself when you realize that you are in one of those places? What magical things do you do, or not magical, actually? Because a lot of them are. And I think I am rubbish at it. I will put my hands up to it. I am absolutely rubbish at self-care. I can hear Pete and the girls laughing. First of all, I think make time for yourself. And I know that is difficult. Having been a working wife and mother, I am still a working wife and mother, but my children are a lot older now. It can be really difficult, especially when you've got young children, or lots of furry people, furry creatures to look after. However busy your week is, try and make sure that you set some time aside for yourself and do something that makes you happy. And I think as pagans, witches, magical folk, spiritual beings, getting outside in nature is always good for our soul as well, even if it is just opening a window and sitting, breathing in the fresh air, or just stepping out into your garden. Nature is a great healer. We all know that. Do things that make you happy. I'm going through the mundane things first. So set aside movie time. Not always easy if you've got a house full of kids, teenagers, dogs, whatever. But if you can schedule at least a couple of hours a week or even a month to sit and watch your favorite movie with a cup of tea, glass of wine, bowl of popcorn, whatever, it will help. If you are in a relationship, don't forget date nights. Pete and I celebrate 32 years together this year. We still have date days, not date nights, because, I'm old now and I'm in bed by 8. But we have date days. We take a day off work and we go somewhere. We go visit places, have lunch at a cafe, things like that. I think that's really, really important to do in any relationship, really. If you are crafty, set aside time to knit, to crochet, to sew, to paint, or write. Even if you're not crafty, have a bit of a laugh with it. The girls and I did working with clay once. It was hysterical. Make sure that you make time for yourself. I think the other thing to do is to talk. If you are of my age, you'll know the advert. It's good to talk. I think getting support is really helpful. If you can talk to your partner, communication goes a whole heap of a way to getting them to understand. I know, particularly with Pete and I, with me going through the menopausal hell, talking and explaining to him how I'm feeling, even though it sounds completely bonkers a lot of the time, has really helped. But a parent or a sibling or a teacher or a mentor or a friend, someone will listen. And I think that's quite important as well. I'm ticking off a list here. Taking control of your health, and I'm still struggling with that in the minute with the whole menopausal stuff. When your health isn't good, it is going to affect your moods, your emotions, and everything else. If you can do something looking after your health to make that improve is always good. And I know that's not always easy to do. Some people like to journal. I think that is quite a big thing, I would say, in the magical world. I was talking to someone the other day. I was recording one of the podcasts, actually, and one of the folks on one of their books was journaling and how important that was. And I said, I'm rubbish at journaling. And she said to me, I bet you're not. I bet you just do it in a different form. Do I take a notebook and do I journal my thoughts each day? No, rubbish at that. Buy lots of lovely journals, never write in them. But I blog and I write books and I do this and I blog. That's my way of journaling. I had to admit that I'd been told off. I do journal, I just do it in a different way. But that can be really useful to let your feelings, let your emotions, let your thoughts, get them out of your head. A boring one, but something Snow White nailed, although she did have a team of dwarves to help her. Housework. I think it is boring, it is tedious. I hate housework. But if the house is untidy or unclean, that energy can get stuck in the house and that can cause chaos as well. I have yet to teach the woodland animals to help me or teenagers. But I think even if you can just make the room a little bit tidier, it helps to keep that positive energy moving around. Sound. I think we've spoken about forgetting our senses before. We have all these senses and quite often we forget to use them all. I think sound is quite important. Noise of any kind can be annoying. Yeah, having had a lot of building work done, but it can be enjoyable. It can be uplifting, depending what type of noise it is. The absence of sound can be the same as well. Peace, quiet, your favorite music, drumming, all of the different soundtracks you can get on your phone these days. Singing. My singing is not a great relief to me. But having the sounds can evoke memories as well and emotions. And smell. Scent can evoke all kinds of memories. It can boost your thoughts. It can boost your feelings. Think about the scents that make you happy. Even if it's something as simple as fresh coffee, it can all boost your well-being. And a big one for me that has taken a long, long time for me to learn is boundaries, is being able to say no to friends, to work, even family members. is really difficult sometimes. Can you do this? Can you do that? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you end up exhausted, stressed, and just overdoing everything. So the important lesson, which was one that I still struggle with on occasion now, but it is learning to say, actually, no, I can't do that, because you're looking after yourself. I think also giving thanks for things. Sometimes it is difficult to see the positive. Life can feel like everything's being thrown in your direction, but taking a moment just to have a think about the small things, the positive things, can boost how you feel as well. Reading. If reading is your thing, you can lose yourself in a book. I'm sure we've all got favorite authors. Terry Pratchett is my go-to, obviously. To lose myself, it's my comfort read. Hobbies, all kinds of hobbies. Cooking, not necessarily cooking for me, because cooking the dinner's boring, but baking always takes me to that happy place. Writing, I've mentioned crafting, building model aircraft, whatever it is, do something for you. And never underestimate the power of a good cry. That's releasing, that's letting go of a whole ton of stuff. Goals as well are important. I spent some time with huge, enormous to-do lists, and it became overwhelming. Set yourself one goal at a time. Even if it is just getting up and getting dressed, you've achieved something. So do them in small baby steps. Quite a big lecture there. That's all the mundane stuff. And a lot of that, I'm sure you already do, but I think a lot of it, we forget about it as well. But then there's the spiritual and magical things, which we'll look at as well. And I've seen lots of comments come up here. So let's have a look at those. Oh, loads of comments. Right, let's have a look. Maria, I ground often and go out to make time for myself, because I never used to. Have a cleansing, releasing shower, eat something yummy. Perfect. All really simple, straightforward things, but they can have a huge positive effect. David, like to make a bath tea bag filled with herbs, Epsom salts, and intention. Again, perfect. The whole process of that, the actual making of the tea bag with the herbs, is the start of it, right through to actually having the ritual bath as well. Perfect. Jalala, when I feel stressed, I can literally feel my blood pressure rise. To release it, I retreat to my witchy shed and carve wood. Having the wood in my hands and having the gentle focus is perfect. In the warmer months, I meditate every day outside in the grove and just be with nature. Ideal. Ideal. Sephora, I've been baking with love to get some pink bats back on hubby, but have slipped and overindulged sugar and gluten, paying the price. Balance. It's all about balance and moderation. Karen, my self-care mostly involves long baths, essential oils, or herbal teas. That's senses, using your senses. Emma, if you are in crisis, you can call 111 option 2 in the UK, and there'll be someone on the other end who can refer you to someone who can help. Thank you for that, Emma. I wasn't aware of that. That's very useful information. Thank you. Jane, once a month, I have a couple of chums my age round, and we sit in the purple room with tea, wine, cake, and lots of chat. It's a good time to get together with people who understand us and get stuff off their chests. It's talking. Never, ever underestimate the power of having a good old chin wag. Yep. Maria, when the place is not clean, it affects the balance in the home and in yourself. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. It's energy moves, energy needs to flow. And if there's chaos, physical chaos in the house, it gets stuck and blocked. Jalala, I might be biased. There's no bias. There's just lots of different variations and opinions, and we welcome them all. But the difference between talking to a therapist and talking to family and friends is that what you say to family and friends always has the potential to change your relationship. Interesting. The therapeutic relationship generally doesn't change whatever you say. Certainly in the UK, private counsellors are very much affordable if you ask around. Many give concessions. I must admit, I have looked at that and I haven't found anything affordable. But if anyone has any links, that would be very useful. The ones I looked at were quite expensive, but I'm sure there are other options there. I know that the NHS, if you speak to your doctor, will often refer you to a free NHS therapist as well. So lots of options. Always keep your options open. Absolutely. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Katia. Ooh, Xenia. Using your intuition and detect people that are unhealthy for you and withdraw from them instead of people please and seek the guilt in yourself is a great help. Another lesson to learn: there are some toxic people and you are quite within your rights to cut ties. Absolutely. Not easy to do, but worthwhile. Good morning, Alex. Sephora, housework in 30 degrees heat is my new exercise. Woo. Yeah, no, I might miss that. Victoria, I do journal every day. It took a lot of practice to do it every day, but it has been a lifeline for me. Don't have any friends or family to talk to, so it really helps me. It's finding that thing, isn't it? It is finding something that works for you, and it's going to be different for everyone. David, have a good dance in the house and bring in laughter. Now, you know, being part of Kitchen Witch Coven, that laughter is their big thing. Even if you don't feel like it, it's surprising how quickly the actions take over and you find yourself raised by it. I have a playlist on my Spotify that's called Happy Mix. That's the playlist that I play to boost my energy, my emotions, my feelings, my mood. I have to say it is all pretty much 80s pop, but it's my happy stuff and it boosts the energy. Emma, dancing used to help me. Can't dance anymore, but I can crochet. I can't dance. I do it, badly. But yes, crochet is hobbies. Doing things that make you happy. Xenia, being in nature in the forest of park with old trees is also releasing stress for me and recharges me. Nature, brilliant. For me, it's not the trees. I actually sometimes feel quite not overwhelmed, but hemmed in when I'm in a forest. For me, it's open plains, it's open fields, it's wide open spaces. Oh, Dartmoor, just something very, very magical about that. All the big, wide open fields for me. That's my nature go-to. It's individual. It's got to work for you. Victoria, taking time to feel grateful for the smaller things. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter. As I say, it's just one small thing that I got up and managed to put my, underwear on without falling over. Take that as a positive. Maria, you can get free counselling also, but usually there's a long waiting list and for a short period. Counselling should be lifelong, actually. It's interesting. I've heard differing opinions. I've never had counselling, so I can't speak from personal experience. But I do have a very good friend that has had counselling, and she recommends just short periods at a time. Otherwise, you can become reliant on it. But I guess it's very individual. So it has to be on each person and how it works for you. It is a very individual thing, I think. Let's go back a bit, Jane. Agent Cooper in Twin Peaks said that every day we should treat ourselves to something, even if it's just a nice cup of coffee. And it doesn't have to be expensive coffee either. My caramel latte here is made from one of those little sachet things. Much, much cheaper than buying it from a cafe coffee house. Yum. Karen got an unopened bottle of April Violet perfume. This was my grandmother's favorite, and just smelling it brings back wonderful memories. It's our senses. Our senses do evoke memories and all sorts of things. Makes me think of Palmer violets. Good morning. This is Katia. Water has an amazing conductivity power, so a healing bath or shower with calming herbs, ideally foraged by myself with healing purposes. Intentions are a big one for me. Water is soothing, calming, cleansing, can even be grounding, and it's very, very easy to do just in your shower. Yeah, absolutely. Xenia, boundaries is a big issue. Yep. tend to mirror people, and if they are not good for me, I end up with a migraine. So shielding energetically from them is a thing I have to learn. Yeah, it's remembering to put those shields up, isn't it? A lot of people can drain your energy without even realizing they're doing it. Senia, I shower in the evenings when I come back from everyday tasks and work because I feel the energetic need to cleanse myself. Perfect. Good morning, Angela. I'm late to the game today. Definitely a day of self-care today since I managed to, oh no, face plant the pavement outside a shop yesterday. In bed with a black eye, broken elbow, suspected broken rib, buggered wrist, both hands. Angela, what are you doing? Mad. Yeah, definitely. More of a day of self-care. You take it easy. Definite healing energy coming to you. Susie, one of my few daily rituals is to give thanks. I do it at the end of the day once I'm in bed. I'm always thankful for a comfortable bed. It represents more than a good place to sleep, but that I have the income to afford it. Can usually find other things to say thanks for too. Once I'm communicating with the goddess, I then often tell her what I need in my life too. I think gratitude is something that we quite often forget. We're so used to working spells and magic and rituals, asking for stuff. We do forget gratitude, I think. And it is quite an important one. Jane, something I've discovered recently is how good it is to accept help. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Jane. State of my garage was overwhelming. My daughter went in there and she'd sorted out loads of space and stuff to get rid of what seemed like minutes. People like to help, so we should accept the help graciously. I am really bad at it, really bad at accepting help. Hopefully I'm getting better. Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Maria. Mind offer free or affordable counselling. Thank you for that link. That hopefully will be helpful to someone. Emma, my main goal is showering. Don't get me wrong, I wash each day, but showering is a bit of a struggle. So far, I've made 10 weeks achieving my goal. I think there is nothing like a good shower. Having spent 4 weeks without a bathroom, I relish every shower now. We did wash. We went to my daughter's for showers, but it's not every day. It's not the same. Sephora, don't journal anymore, but I play Wordle every day just to make sure my brain works. I think that depends. I did try Wordle. I found it quite infuriating, so it wasn't very relaxing. Kerry, a good shout and rant into the wind. Wind, releasing, clearing, purifying. Absolutely. That elements, bringing the elements into it. Definitely. Claire, I like sound baths. Looking very glam. Thank you. I love sound baths. I think sound baths are amazing. If you can't get to a sound bath physically, then do have a look on Spotify and YouTube, because they do have sound bath music, and you can make yourself a little self-care day. I blogged about it. There is something on my blog with it. And I've done it before, where I've set up a little sleeping bag thing on the floor, yoga mat, sleeping bag, cushions, light some incense, put on a sound bath track, and you've got yourself a little individual personal sound bath. Definitely. Jalala, NHS waiting list is terribly long, and generally they only get short help. They're overwhelmed, aren't they? Often counsellors will offer a sliding scale or concessions, but may have to ring and ask. They may not advertise lower rates. Can look on the counselling directory or the National Counselling and Psychotherapy Society. Thank you. That's very good information too. Thank you. Charlie, I've had a lot of bad news out of the blue, family stuff and other stuff. Struggle with feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes don't know what to do. Breathe. Definitely remember to breathe. You know, life does, doesn't it? I have to admit, nothing drastic, touch wood. But so far, 2024 has seemed to be a bit of a struggle. It really has felt quite difficult. And I think a lot of people have felt that. Remember that you're never alone, Charlie. If myself and the Kitchen Witch team can help anyone, do reach out to us. We'll always listen and help if we can. I think in this internet world, it is good to remember that there are people on the other end of a wire somewhere. But I think also it's very easy to become overwhelmed. Take a step back if you can and deal with things in bite-sized chunks. You don't have to deal with everything all at once. Baby steps. Break it down. That sounds like a song. You're not alone, Charlie. Know that you're not alone. Maria, I feel energy-wise overwhelmed in the woods because they're using your energy. Balancing out is something to learn. I do feel, woods aren't, the forest doesn't really do it for me. I do feel quite hemmed in, but it's individual. The trees are amazing things. Jane calls it aroma tripping. I like that. It's using your senses, isn't it? Amanda, as someone who colossally sucks at self-care, yeah, you and me both, I have learned that just pausing and focusing on breathing, if only for a minute, settles the mental chaos, helps me to deal with the physical chaos. Yeah, and grounding. Grounding is, again, something I forget to do it. And it's a really good, quick fix for just pausing, grounding your energies so that you can move forwards. But it's remembering to do that, isn't it? When you are overwhelmed and in that midst of all that chaos, it can be really difficult to think, oh, hang on, let me just stop for a minute. Interesting, Sephora. I don't know if you have this in the UK. I don't know that either. Attended counselling through the university. Students in the last year and supervised, heavily discounted. Interesting. I don't know if we have that over here. That's a good idea. Xenia, giving thanks also helps me. I have an alarm on my phone every morning to remind me of giving thanks should I forget. Nice. I like it. Using modern technology as a prompt. Absolutely. Tilala, I worship the shower gods. Oh, I do. Well, that's me and Sulis. Sulis and water, definitely. Good morning, Jackie. Xenia. As for journaling, I have a second weekly planner book where I note nice things that happened that day or nice things I bought. That is a lovely idea. Only short, no long text as there's no room and I wouldn't do it. I love that. Brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. Emma, I have found tapping on certain places on the body, like the wrist, helps to settle anxiety and panic. It is a thing, isn't it? Tapping. It is an actual spiritual thing. So lots of mundane things. Mundane it's not a strong enough word, really, is it? Everyday things you can do for self-care. But we're witches. We are magical folk. Good morning, Jackie. David, magical. I find all the elements are great for stress. Yeah. Screaming in the wind, whispering into hole in the ground. Oh, I like that one. Soaking and letting water massage and wash away the problems. Yeah. All of the elements can bring healing and relief and help and assistance for us. Good morning, Jackie from the wet New Forest. Yep, wet Hampshire here as well. Claire, I like Z Trauma Gel. It's a French product, easy just to put on the wrist if out and about. Interesting. Jane, every night before I doze off, I balance my chakras, then go through all the things I'm thankful for that day. Gratitude really lifts the spirits and reminds us not to take stuff for granted. Absolutely. And when people ask me what magical things can we do, the first one I always say is always sounds really boring. It's like yawn, not that old chestnut again. But meditation really, really can help. And you do not have to sit for an hour in your pretzel position, because that ain't happening. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I try and do it at the end of each day. I quite often fall asleep, although not at the moment because menopause is stopping me from sleeping. But meditating just for 5-10 minutes a day. And I mean, I can remember when the kids were very young, even locking myself in the bathroom for 5 minutes just to meditate. Now I have Eric sitting outside whining. Finding that just those few moments to yourself. to meditate can really bring things all back into balance and into perspective. Walking. I used to do the school run and walk to school. When I was walking back without the children, don't meditate when you're walking on the road with children, that's not good. But I had quite a long pathway with no crossing of roads, so I could meditate as I walked. Mindful meditation. It's about fitting it into your schedule, making it work for you. But meditation can really, really help. Just short bursts of it. It's quite a balancing thing. Read a new book about a spiritual pathway or reread an old one. I've got books behind me. That shelf's mine. That's some of the Terry Pratchett, more Terry Pratchett above. And there's all the Moon books I own below them. But I've got a big shelf downstairs with all my spiritual books, my witchcraft books, my reference books. Sometimes it's quite good to just randomly pull a book out and just have a read. Even if you just read the first couple of pages, just to kind of bring you back in, to give you that spiritual connection, to give you that magical connection. It's kind of a form of divination if you think about it. It is a prompt, and it's quite fun to do as well. Do some research. Pick a deity, pick a spirit animal, pick a plant or a crystal that you haven't worked with before. Open your kitchen cupboard, just pick one of the spices out and connect with it for the magical purpose. Do some drumming, do some singing. We mentioned dancing. Craft something magical, something straightforward. Just make a little pouch with uplifting herbs in, or an incense blend. If you've got a bit more time, make a witch bottle or a poppet. Even just lighting a candle, got to be the simplest magical thing to do, is to light a candle. And that can be very uplifting and soothing, calming, gives you that reconnection. Turn off your phone and step away from the computer. Not now. At least wait till I've finished, because that would just be rude. I try not to look at my phone in the evenings. So if anyone's emailing me in the evenings, chances are I'm not going to reply to you. I got to that stage where I was, every time an email message came in, I would jump up from the sofa or whatever I was doing and go and answer the email. I don't now. I try and have the evenings where I don't answer emails. Step away from it. And I also try not to be on the computer in the evenings as well, unless I've got an event on, obviously. Try and make a set time each day where you are not near your electronics. They are brilliant. They are fantastic. Wouldn't be without them. But sometimes it's good just to step away from them and do something else. Read a book, sit in the garden. Something that you enjoy doing. Write a ritual, write a chant, write a spell, write a poem. Something that inspires you magically. Just something straightforward. Really, simple things that connect us to our magic, but that also bring us that kind of self-care connection as well. Lots more comments. Let's have a look. Xenia, I had some tough things happen last year at work and in my flat and in my private life. It was so shocking that I had a shaman work on it. Sometimes you need someone else work on you when you are overwhelmed and not in your power and mentally drawn. She was successful for this shock thing, but my energy system has been damaged. I have much more migraines now. Going to the pain clinic, attended a self-care workshop Friday at work, and planning to get counseling from a therapist. That is recognizing that you're struggling and seeking help, which is probably the most important step. So good on you for doing that. Jane, I've got a self-hypnosis CD that lasts about 20 minutes and makes me go completely gaga. Tried to order more copies for friends, but the website's been taken down. Well, that's just rude. But there's a lot of apps and things that provide relaxing music, guided meditations, and all sorts. If you're just looking for guided meditations, there are lots on the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel, so all free and there for you to use and listen to. A type of tapping is emotional freedom technique. I have experienced that. Yes, I have had some of that myself many years ago. It's like acupuncture without the needles. Yes. Look up Gary Craig, who invented it. It's become a little religious in his old age, but look past that bit. His tapping practice is amazing. Yeah, I have had experience of EFT, and it is fascinating. Karen, sitting with a glass of wine, watching flames dance in the fire pit. Oh, perfect. Is one of my favorite ways to relax, followed by a cleansing shower to wash the smoke out of my hair. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Xenia. Simply sitting at home when the home is quiet, having a coffee or tea, pulling out one of the lovely books and curling up the sofa is bliss. We've spoken about this before. Tea or coffee, your first cup in the morning, is in itself a little magical ritual. It doesn't have to be herbal tea, because most of that's a bit rubbish. It can be your favorite coffee. It could be a normal cup of tea. But the whole ritual of boiling the kettle, and if you make a pot of tea, that makes it more of a ritual too. But just boiling the kettle, putting the stuff in the cup, stirring it, and then sitting and having that first kind of moment, that in itself is a magical self-care moment. Just taking that time out to have that first peaceful cup of tea or coffee is a self-care moment. Jane, Aldi do a chili con carne spice mix. Where are we going with this? That I use to aroma trip. Okay, takes me back to the branch of Boots in Fairgate, Sheffield, where I bought my first selection of curry spices in 1971. Then I go down the rabbit hole of visiting memories in Sheffield when hubby was at university. Fantastic. I do like a chili con carne, actually. Yeah, it's senses. Using their senses again, isn't it? Angela, do be careful. Would rather have had an aroma trip rather than an actual trip. Yes, we would rather that too. Please look after yourself. David, meditation is brilliant for me. This morning I needed it and ended up having a wise chat with Bilbo Baggins over a sweet cup of tea. David, I love your meditations. David quite often lets me into his meditation. You meet the most amazing people in your meditations. It's fantastic. It's perfect. Xenia, we had EFT at that self-care workshop recently. Find it really helpful because just talking and understanding what is happening doesn't get it into the body that is stressed and overwhelmed. Everyone is different, and there will be different methods that work for different people. EFT was brilliant when I had that. My go-to for any kind of holistic therapy is reflexology. It works for me. It is my take me away to a different world place is reflexology. I love it. If I was very rich, I would have a reflexologist on tap. But it has to be what works for you. There are lots of holistic therapies and things that you can do yourself, like tapping, EFT, if you are Reiki master here. But I forget that I've got that skill. And I have, when it falls into place, I think, yes, right, let's do some of that. But anyone can heal. You don't have to be a Reiki master or practitioner. You can heal. Draw on the energy from Mother Nature. She will provide you with all of the energy that you need to heal. It's just remembering. It's just acknowledging that you do need that help and that healing, and finding a way that works for you. Yeah, Sephora, magical moments with pets is awesome too. Not so magical at 4 a.m. when the dog's not very well. But yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There are, Helen. Yeah, I forget too. Get that I have Reiki. I do. I forget. But I think sometimes we do forget all of these skills that we've got. Visualization is another magical skill. helping to create the reality that you want. You can bring visualization into your healing as well, to see yourself positive, happy, healed, released, whatever it might be. Grounding, we mentioned. Grounding and centering, very important. Grounding after any type of energy work, but also useful to do at least once a day, just to bring yourself back in. And if you've got stressed and you've got overwhelmed, grounding can really help you bring all of those energies back onto a balanced level. And I am very aware that I'm being general here and being broad, and that things can't always be helped just by a little bit of meditation. A lot of things do take a lot more than that. I do reassure you that I have been through all these things. I wrote about it. I do a book thing because, why not? Curative Magic. This is about self-care. This is me going through all of the things. So guilt, worry, grief, low self-esteem, obstacles and blockages, sleep issues, menses, menopause, transitions and changes, anxiety, stress, depression, panic attacks, and fear. I have been there with all of those. Big amount of them with the whole menopause shenanigans, but I have experienced all of those things. So I wanted to write about things that can help. There are lots of things. There's spells, there's crafting, affirmations, color magic, crystals, herbs, foods, incense, essential oil blends, food, recipes of all kinds, all sorts of things that you can do to counteract and to help you work through any of those issues. The magic is there to help. It's just about remembering that as well. Breathing is another thing as well. Focusing on your breathing, not only a good way to start a meditation, but it can also help, particularly with things like panic attacks or when you're feeling anxious or when you're feeling stressed. Concentrating on how you breathe, it can calm you down, but it kind of gives you a focus. There are lots of different breathing exercises that can be used. Find one that suits you. Some are more difficult depending on how you are physically. 3 relaxing breaths, bellow breaths. There's all sorts of different breathing exercises. If you do suffer from panic attacks or anxiety, do have a look at breathing exercises because they can really help. Safe place. I don't mean a physical place, though it could be. We're all going to Jane's Purple Room for a start. But you can have a safe space inside your head. Something that we get our students to do is to make your own inner temple. And you do that with meditation, to take yourself to a place which is your own sacred space. It is your visualized inner place where you can go when you meditate to escape, to seek insight, to draw upon healing energy. It might be, it might be just a visualization of the woods. Mine is a castle room. Different visualizations for different people. But once you've found that sacred inner space, you can go back to whenever you need it. Sometimes the decoration changes depending on what you need, but it's about knowing that it's always there. Affirmations. I always think of affirmations as being a little bit airy-fairy, but they do work because words have power. They must have power because we use words in spell working, and that brings a power and energy to the spell. And we know that what people say to you affects you, whether that's positive or negative. Words evoke meanings, feelings, emotions, reactions. So affirmations, about thinking about how you say things. I'm sure we all do it. Oh no, I can't do that. I'm no good at that. It's about stopping and thinking, actually, I'll give that a go. I can't do that. Too scared to do that. Not worthy. Don't do crowds. Don't do this. Don't do that. Think about what you say automatically and see if you can change that. Do you know what? I'll give it a go. my life is, I can do that. I deserve to be happy. I am in control of that situation. Changing how you speak brings the power of the words. Difficult to do. Chocolate. Maria says chocolate and more chocolate. Oh, I'm with you on that one, Maria. As long as it's not white chocolate, because that's just wrong. Jalala, we often forget the tools we have in our toolbox to self-care when we need it most because we're overwhelmed and on guard trying to survive. Yes, all of these things, anxiety, stress, panic attacks, they are all ancient inbred reactions to run away from things. It is our fight or flight response. So it's very easy to become overwhelmed with it. This is where Ritual works wonder, bringing our tools into regular practice so they become a natural part of our routine. Yeah, absolutely. Jackie, shall read that curative magic book again whilst on an enforced hiatus. Feel like I am calming my mind down enough to take in reading again. Currently, I'm sewing a lot out of my head into my hands. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Claire, listening to alpha waves can help slow down breathing. There are some meditations on Spotify that I found that work with different wave levels, different hertz, which are quite interesting to work with. Sephora, sometimes, as I said to a friend who recently had a heart attack, giving yourself time to heal is really important. Give yourself permission to feel woeful when you need it. That it is very much, that's the flip side of it, isn't it? You are allowed to feel a bit down about stuff. Gosh, especially after that. And grief, I think, is an important one for that as well. Grief takes time, and every person will deal with it differently. There's no set time frame for that. It has to be worked through personally. Susie, I've done some work in Philippines with Alburias, who are named witch doctors, but are very much herbalist, healers, shamanic workers. They are very much into cacao or cocoa. That's what I was researching. They swear by daily cups of strong chocolate drinks. Oh, I'm up for that. Philippine cacao is not as bitter as other stuff I've tried, and so drinking it with no additives is not unpleasant. If you're just having the happy kick from it, then making it milk and sugar is okay, I guess. I've worked with cacao. I've been to cacao rituals, which are fascinating things to do. It can be very bitter, it can be very strong, but it is nice mixed with honey and other spices. It's fascinating stuff to work with. Oh, yes. Angela, that's why learning the order of letters to make words is called spelling. It's magic in everything. Emma, if I'm out the house, I do try to compliment one person just to bring some happiness into the day, not just for them, but me too. Words have power, definitely. Oh, yes. Yeah. I was in a cafe yesterday and the lady in the queue had the most amazing velvet coat on. And I said to her, you have the most amazing velvet coat on. She was actually quite surprised that someone had complimented her. The little things as well, isn't it? Little things. Jane, back rescue remedy drops or pastels can be helpful. They can. Made a crystal elixir as part of branch class when I feel my blood pressure rising. These things really do work. I've used rescue remedy on lots of occasions. I also gave it to my daughter when she was going through her exams. It's good stuff. David, just remembered something I was told years ago. Every full moon, you're granted a wish, but it has to be a selfish wish. It's to remind you that you're just as important as everyone else you care for. We forget that too, don't we? And I do. It's something I'm really bad with. There is the saying that if you're running on empty, then you're no good to anyone else. I am very, very much aware of all of the eyes looking at me now, glaring at me. Preaching and not listening. Yeah. Yeah, it is important. Angela, I make my cacao with fruity herbal tea instead of milk and sugar. I'd not thought of that. That's a very good idea. I'm going to try that. Thank you. Yeah, another vote for back remedies. Yeah, I've only really used the rescue remedy, but it's very good. Spells is interesting, isn't it? Spells it's a series of words and or actions. It's a wish, it's a desire, and it contains the magical intent to transform. And when you are looking at self-care, what you need to do is transform what you're doing, how you're feeling, what your situation is. So spells really are excellent for changing about that self-care. It gives you the focus putting the spell together. It gives you the focus finding the ingredients for it. It gives you the focus to actually work it. All of that focus on your one intent, got to be a good thing, hasn't it? And rituals as well. Ritual. Don't forget that ritual is not necessarily the whole bells and whistles thing. A ritual is just a set of actions that come together to make a whole thing. It could just be brushing your teeth every day, right through to the big whole ceremonial thing. You've got to make it work for you, and you've got to do what you feel is right. You might cast a circle, you might call in the quarters, you might invite deity in, you might work your magic and then do it all in reverse. But you might just sit at your altar and light a candle. If you do that on a regular basis, it becomes a ritual. And I think elements we talked about briefly, don't forget the elements. They are very, very powerful and very, very easy to connect with. I think cleansing is probably important as well. Remember that negative energy can build up really quickly. So cleansing, not just your home, I'm not just talking about smudging. There are all sorts of ways to do it. Smudging with smoke, cleansing with sound. You can drum through the house. You can bang a biscuit tin through the house. You can visualize white light cleansing all through the house. Scented candles, salt water, all sorts of different ways of doing it. But don't forget to cleanse your physical body as well. The house picks up negative energy, but your body does as well. So when you're doing your whole cleansing house ritual, remember to cleanse your body as well, because stuff does, it hangs on. And color magic as well is I work with color magic a lot in spell working, but color also boosts your emotions. I don't wear a lot of black, she says. I've got a bit of black on today. I like color, but it has to be a color that works for you. I feel happier and uplifted and more confident in brighter colors. If black is your thing and that makes you feel more happier, confident, and better in yourself, then go for that. But be mindful of what you put on each day and how that color makes you feel, because color can have a really big effect on our emotions. Sephora, come from a long line of have a cup of concrete and harden up. So after a point, I have to say I've had enough character building, thank you, and ask the universe to back the truck up. I've never heard that said like that before. In Britain, we just have a cup of tea. Doesn't matter what it is. Lost your job. Oh, have a cup of tea. Your leg's fallen off. Oh, have a cup of tea. It's just what we do. Susie, in the Philippines, they say never add anything to cacao, as that is adding other energies to your drink, so you can't connect to the spirit of the trees or the goddess Maria Cacao. Not heard that. Have been to several cacao ceremonies, generally invoking Mayan deities, but we've always added stuff to the cacao. I think for me it adds energy. It adds different things to it, but has to work for you. Has to work for you, absolutely. Kerry, there are no stupid questions. How do I watch Kitchen Witch Coven Group on YouTube? I'd rather watch on the telly so I can see it properly. Go to YouTube and find the Kitchen Witch Coven YouTube channel. There's a whole channel there. If you go to the kitchenwitchhearth.net website, there is a link to the Kitchen Witch Coven YouTube channel. So yeah, go to the Kitchen Witch, or go to YouTube and search for Kitchen Witch Coven, and you should find the YouTube channel there. And all of the rituals are recorded on there. All of these are recorded on my YouTube channel. No silly questions. Jalala, all this is making me think I should offer some free wellbeing for witches sessions. I should ponder on it. That sounds like a fab idea, Jalala. Let me know when you pull that together. Absolutely. Maria, I usually smudge myself first. Good. Sound therapy. Yes, Jackie. Sound therapy. Great music. Yeah, it's a big one for me. Really big one for me. Xenia, I'd love a cup of tea. Being able to fix all these things. I know, it's just one of those British things. Have a cup of tea. Doesn't matter what it is. It'll sort it out. Sephora, when is the next podcast coming up? I'm glad you asked. The next Pagan Portal podcast episode. They air first and third Friday of every month. So this coming Friday, the next episode will be up. And I was talking with the very lovely Irisanya Moon. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating chat. We had a blast. All of the previous ones are up for replay on the Moonbooks YouTube channel or on the Spotify Pagan Portal podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Yeah, we had an amazing talk. That was great fun. Lots more coming up as well. Some fascinating people, and I am very excited that the first episode, 3 episodes ago, has had well over 1,000 views now, which is brilliant. And the Spotify channel, we now have over 100 subscribers already in a matter of a few weeks, which is brilliant. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support on that. Jalala, there may be a YouTube app on your telly. Yes, if you have a smart TV, if you look in the apps, you'll find the YouTube app, and then you just type in which channel you want. If you're doing it from your phone, you may well also be able to cast your screen of your phone to the telly as well. Depends if you've got a smart telly. Angela is drinking nettle tea today. Yuck. I'll leave you to that one, Angela. But I hope it's healing. Maria, totally off subject. Well, we haven't gone off subject today, so it's about time. We're well over time. I actually found a copy of Fate and Fortune yesterday. There's an article about how their Witch to Make You Rich actually did. Oh, okay, I'll have a look at that. I have a regular column in Fate and Fortune magazine. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, every month, and I am the witch that makes you rich. I'm going to have a look at that, Maria. Thank you. I will have a look. Xenia, sound and music therapy. Yes, when in shock, I find some of my CDs with Tibetan monks or other persons singing Buddhist mantras, singing bowls, or healing frequencies help. Also, the sound of singing birds. I think it has to work for each person. I do know some people that don't like the sound bath sounds. I'm not a big fan of singing bowls. I think they are at such different vibrations. You have to find one that works for you, because if you get the wrong one, it can set your teeth on edge. Oh, they are, David. See, the day's looking up already. Slice of lemon drizzle cake in the fridge you'd forgotten about. Perfect. Jane, there's a song by the Kinks about have a cup of tea. Now, see, I think have a cup of tea. I think of Bernard Cribbins singing it. Kelly has a smart TV. Yeah, find the Kitchen Witch Coven YouTube channel, and there's lots of spells and talks and rituals and all sorts on there, Kerry. Yeah, I'm going to leave you guys to your nettle tea. Now, Maria, no, I have tinnitus, but I don't actually mind the sound bars. It depends. I love the gongs. It's the singing bowls I struggle with. But there you go. Lots and lots. Jackie, stop it. I did see that. There is about to be a tea shortage, apparently. Quick bulk buy. Self-care is really, really important. But as magical folk, we have access to a magical toolkit. It's just about remembering that we have that magical toolkit. There are lots and lots of suggestions on my blog, on the Kitchen Witch blog, about things that you can do to help yourself and to bring yourself out of it. But please, please remember that you are not alone. Myself and the Kitchen Witch team are here. If you are struggling, please do reach out to us. I'm not sure we can do anything, but we can listen, which is a first step. We're here, so don't feel that you're ever alone. So thank you, everyone. Way over time, as usual. Do look out for the new podcast episode that comes this Friday. Do have a look at the events page on my website and the Kitchen Witch website. We've got lots of stuff coming up. Have a fantastic week. Have a very lovely Valentine's Day. And don't forget that you are worthy. Take care, everyone.